Hello, everyone. Welcome to Friday's episode of Rose and Carter Do the JOB. It's tag team day. My pick this week was a guilty pleasure of mine, Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor. Grandmaster Sexy and Scotty Too Hotty. Too cool. Proper, guilty pleasure of mine. I love, the comedic aspect as well as they can do a bit of wrestling as well. You said the same, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's like a guilty pleasure of yours.
Yeah.
It's often a team that's not. It's on nobody's fucking top 10 tag teams list ever. But I think they're cracking. They knew the position that they were in.
Yeah.
And fucking excelled at it.
Well, I mean, they still held the tag belts as well, didn't they? They were still champions, but so they must have thought highly enough of them, put them in that position.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Scott Taylor had done stuff in like New England, wherever that is. I don't know quite what position of America that's in. And Brian around the Memphis area.
Right, yeah.
But they started tagging in '98. Right. First big pay-per-view together was WrestleMania 14 in the Tag Battle Royal. I was first in the Tag Battle Royal. And I think that whoever won that wrestled the champions that night.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, actually.
They had a brief feud with Kai and Ty when they were joined with Lawler.
Right.
That was when they were sort of villains. Wrestled the Headbangers, the Oddities, always sort of like, the undercard kind of thing. A year later, they turned babyface because they just started getting over, I guess, didn't they? They were getting over.
I remember, there was a fucking... I actually remember watching it at the time. There was a Survivor Series. It was a Survivor Series, and it was Too Cool and Crash and Hardcore Holly against Edge and Christian and the Hardys. And I remember Edge, Christian, and the Hardys were like the faces in that match. But I can remember thinking, fucking hell, like Too Cool are like on the turn here, because I remember thinking they're over, like even though they were the heels. And I think they ended up going over in the match, if I remember. But yeah, I just remember thinking, like, they're kind of faces, even though they're like heels. So, and it wasn't long after that, I guess, where
that was only like a year in, Later on in the year, Rikishi joins the group.
Yeah.
Not quite sure what purpose he served, but I suppose a fat man dancing is always kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Scotty to held the light heavyweight championship later on, but they were tag team champions as well. Only the once. I thought it was more than that, But according to Wiki, it's only the once.
All right. Okay.
And Scott and the Quiche held them once as well. They carried on the Indies throughout, like until 2014 was the closest I could find, but I'm sure they did more recent than that. And then Brian died on the 29th of July, 18. So, yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, from 98 till, fucking, the end of Brian's life, they were going. They were always sort of on some fucking indie show or another, weren't they?
Well, they were. They were in the UK. It wasn't that long ago. They were over here, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw on YouTube there was a match with Styx in.
Styx and SC Supreme, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For Fight Factory, yeah, and they also think they've done other. Didn't they do one for Hope as well? I think
probably. I did a show with Scotty on, Scott on his own.
Yeah.
For somebody locally, and I remember when they came together, I only wanted Brian because I'd already done the Scott thing,
right? So, yeah.
And Brian being the Memphis boy, and I spoke to him on Facebook, and he was here, and he was affordable and everything. And I had quite a few shows of that period, but because he was here for, I was only for like 10 days or whatever, I couldn't get the date, because I think I had 2 shows in that period, but he was always busy on that date, and I was trying fucking all sorts, go on first there and fucking last here or, all that shit, but it just didn't happen. But, it could have, and I would have proper popped for that. There's not many Americans that I really fucking want to get on, but he was one of them because he's just like one of the Memphis boys, and I'm a big fucking Memphis fan, so it would have been very cool, but it just didn't happen.
Right,
So yeah, I watched matches from '98 was the first one I watched, like their first year, until 2014. So quite a period.
All right. All mine are pretty my four are pretty close together, to be fair. 98 to 2001 are the four that I picked.
What was your first?
My first one was As Too Much against the Headbangers, Shotgun Saturday Night.
Winner.
Yeah. I haven't wrote that much down, really. But I like the start. The start of it was pretty cool. It was really simple, where you had you had Too Much taking the piss out of like the headbangs. You know that little fucking dance they do, like the fucking, that kind
bumpy bumps, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of shit. But it wasn't like the ass bumping thing. It was just, the fucking nodding the head and the fucking arms going all which ways and stuff. Anyway, they were taking the piss out of the headbangers doing that. And then there was a little shine by the headbangers. And then fucking, literally after the headbangers, like the fucking Too Much, like powdered, then the headbangers were left in the ring and they started taking the piss out Too Much, doing their gimmick kind of thing. So it kind of worked, but it was like different. It was all right. It was pretty funny, to be honest. So I've put both teams done really, really like real good tag wrestling from both teams here, and the finish was basically the stage dive. The fucking from the headbangers, like their finish were like on. Can't remember who they done it on, but yeah, they done the headbangers for the finish, and it was real. It was real basic, but the match just flowed well. There was no fucking like iffy bits. It seemed to have a nice flow to it, and I quite liked it, to be honest. Yeah, it was quite a good. Like before they became too cool, they were pretty good team, to be fair. So yeah, it was,
What month was that? You said
April 4th of April '98.
I've got like a week after. My first one's the 18th. 18th of April on Shotgun against Ace Darling and Devon Storm, who became Crowbar.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Ace Darling and Devon Storm, like, were one of those that were always together. They're always wrestling each other or tagging with each other.
Right. Yeah.
I found a match of theirs against each other on Raw. When they started the light heavyweight championship division thing. I found a match when they were against each other from Raw from '97. 97, July '97. The Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor era, yeah. So like before the Too Cool thing. Right. They're putting over on the commentary that there's a change of demeanor to Scott Taylor. Because I suppose he was just like lower level babyface before, and now he's like just being a dick. But the commentary puts over that Ace Darling and Devon Storm are veterans, and you think, well, no fuckers heard of Ace Darling and Devon Storm at this period, but this match really fucking gives them a chance to shine. Like they're really, it's like a proper competitive match. It's not like, on paper you think, it's just fucking Too Cool's going to roll over these bad boys, but they both got right good bits in it. The fucking Ace Darling and Devon Storm do like a double fucking flip over the ropes onto the other two. Too Cool do this like double ass bump thing. It's like fucking, like if you're gonna do two bulldogs at the same time, but they do that to Ace Darling and Devon Storm to one of them. I don't remember which one. Devon. I'm fucking reading it now. Like, so it looks like Devon's bulldogging them, but like Devon sells his ass, which I've never seen anything quite like it before. It was pretty cool, though. And it was just really good to see lesser known people having a good time, like a good length of time and competitive matches on TV.
Right. Yeah.
Ryan's clearly the fucking veteran of the outfit, though. He's fucking mouthing all the way through. The finish is Brian and Scott like fucking double line some fucker. Out goes Devon. There's a pump handle slam to Ace Darling from Scotty, and then the leg drop from Brian, which was pretty much the finish right the way through. But yeah, it was right good. It was it was fucking it was charismatic in action and fucking it was really good. And it's always nice to see somebody that you haven't seen a lot of. Like I've not seen Ace Darling a great deal.
Right, yeah.
I've only really seen Devon Stormer's crowbar. So yeah, cracking.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, my second one is tag title match from SmackDown against the Hardys. Now, it's either from the 6th of January or the 1st of June, because you know how fucking Americans put the fucking dates. I'm guessing it's the 1st of June because it's got like the 6th first. So, and I think they put it that way, don't they? They put the month first. So I'm guessing it's 1st of June. So, yeah.
We'll go with that.
But I'm thinking that Survivor Series I was on about a minute ago, I'm guessing that would have been 99 or 2000, 99. Because here, like two cooler faces. So, and the Hardys are fucking heels. So I'm a bit confused actually.
And they didn't become too cool till 99.
Yeah, and this.
So it could have even been 98.
Oh,
it said on WikiWiki that it was late 99 that Keith joined. And Survivor Series is late in the year, isn't it?
Yeah, Survivor Series is November. This is from like 2000 SmackDown. But yeah. Oh well, in '98 they didn't even have Survivor Series matches, did they? They had that fucking tournament. So I'm guessing it would have been '99, the Survivor Series thing. But Too Cool. When did they turn face then?
99 at some point. So it didn't say when, just 99.
Yeah, and that's just weird to me how the Hardys were heels. So this must have just because the Hardys would have turned face not long after this, I guess. But
I suppose if one turned face, they had to turn another fucker heel, didn't they?
You are.
If with the one team turning face, they needed another heel team, didn't they?
Yeah. I haven't wrote a lot for this match. This match was a bit. It was just on SmackDown, so I was expecting nothing much from it. To be fair, it was less than 10 minutes, around maybe 7 or 8 minutes, I think. And Too Cool are over as fuck, like literally, like fucking crowd are loving them. Jeff hits the Swanton Bomb, which is going to be the finish, but then fucking Kane comes down. I didn't obviously know why the fuck Kane came down, but he came down and fucking killed everyone. And then it was a no contest kind of thing. He got on the mic and started talking shit about Undertaker. So I guess they had a situation going on.
So it was just one of those matches to get Kane over.
Yeah, I think it was Taker. He was.
And they chose the tag team championship to get Kane over.
Oh yeah, but
they couldn't have put like Shit Kicker 1 against Shit Kicker 2 and do that.
So they put the tag title match on. But I think he was talking about Taker. I turned it off when Kane was talking. But yeah, he was just killed everyone, then started doing a promo kind of thing. But yeah, it was no contest and it was an alright match, but nothing fucking to sing about, like really. So yeah, that's match number 2.
My next one was another bouter from WWF Metal, the TV show. I don't remember that fucker, to be fair. 18th of November 2000.
When was that?
18th of November 2000. Just before Survivor Series. They were like, this week Survivor Series. It could have even been the day before, if that was on Saturday. Tom Pritchard and Michael Calder in the commentary, and not really seeing Tom Pritchard a great deal on the commentary. They're against Funaki and Just Joe.
Oh, fucking hell. Good old Just Joe.
Oh, Joe Legend. They obviously, the name had changed and everything. Funaki and Scott Start. Too Cool are so fucking over. Like, a lot of these lesser TV shows. You feel either the crowd noise is fake as fuck because sometimes you hear it, yet people are sat there with their arms folded eating fucking crisps. But these, you could actually see the excitement and the arms were going, and they
Or
were legit happy
on
to
the
see him.
on the subject of fucking that noise fucking that they do and shit. Do you remember in fucking 98 when Warrior went back to WCW? When he went to WCW in 98, yeah. And fucking the Nitro crowd were all fucking like fucking going mad and fucking crazy that Warrior's fucking here. And then I was at my mate's house and his fucking mum was watching something, the same thing on like a fucking German channel, and the crowd were booing the shit out of him. So obviously fucking when the crowd were like, fucking what the fuck is this? And like fucking on Nitro, it was like fucking Warrior, like it was yeah.
There was a shitload of dancing in this from Too Cool, which was fucking funny. Joe comes in, gets hip tossed, atomic dropped into Funaki, Bosch. Low bridge from Funaki, out goes Scotty, little bit of heat on him. There was a fucking mince suplex, but Funaki's better than people give him credit for, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And Joe, being the biggest one in this, was like the big villain. He was doing the cheating, he was getting in, and he was like the general of the team of the match. You know what I mean? He was the one directing the cheating. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brian and Joe in after the hot tag. Fucking massive backdrop to Joe. Boom. Bulldog from Scotty. He does the worm on Joe, which was fucking like the place was popping at this point. Leg drop from Brian. Job's a good one. It was still like 7-8 minutes long. Had plenty in it, and it was a good one. And it's nice to see Joe. Like I didn't see a lot of just Joe, but having wrestled him before, and I found him a tremendous man.
Yeah,
that's why I watched it really. So yeah, it was good. Enjoyed it.
cool. Good. Right. Well, my third one is from Raw, 17th of July 2000. And it's Too Cool versus Road Dogg and X-Pac. I thought, yeah, I'm a big fan of these all four, so see what this is about. It's the match I've wrote the most notes for, actually. So trying to. There was a jump start, Road Dogg and Brian start. It's like all action, fucking all action. I didn't write too much during the match, but like the finish was fucking. I really like the finish. But the only thing I question about the finish is who the fuck's legal, because it didn't fucking. Right. But like, I like the finish so much, I'm gonna let that slide because it was fucking.
Like rules make any fucking difference.
Wow. So so the finish was right. So fucking Road Dogg hits the pump handle fucking finish thing that he does. As he's pinning Scotty to Hotty, Brian, X-Pac's been thrown out the ring, so Brian and the ref's back's turned. So Brian hits the fucking, as Road Dogg's pinning Scotty, Brian jumps off the top rope with his fucking leg drop finish, the hip hop drop, whatever.
On the back of his head.
Yeah, back and noggin. Yeah. And then, then he's pinning him. But X-Pac fucking, so yeah. Oh yeah, because Scotty's legal at this point apparently. So even though it was Brian that hit the leg drop, he fucking put Scotty on top of him. Right. So Scotty's getting the pin. So Scotty's pinning Brian, right? X-Pac pulls Scotty out, fucking gets rid of him. And then, so X-Pac and Scotty out the ring. Brian Christopher is left in the ring with Road Dogg. Fucking Brian hits the waistlock roll-up on Road Dogg. So, he's fucking sitting on his fucking ass as Road Dogg's shoulders on the floor. X-Pac fucking slides in.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you so far.
Yeah. And then fucking X-Pac runs in. And as Brian Christopher's sitting on Road Dogg with a roll-up, he just hits the X Factor. And that's the finish of the match. So I'm thinking it's kind of weird because the confusing thing is to me is fucking Scotty was apparently because
Scotty's legal.
Scotty, well, I think so because when Brian hit the leg drop, he put Scotty on top of him. You know what I mean? X-Pac pulls Scotty out, And then later on, X-Pac slides in, hits the X Factor to Brian, and it's Brian that gets pinned. So 1 minute, Scotty was
But
fucking
if
making
Brian hadn't have got pinned, Scotty would have got counted out anyway. So either way, they've lost.
Yeah. There we go. But fuck me. I was like, literally, I looked at the finish. And I was like, I fucking like that finish. And then I rewound it 3 or 4 times, like trying to keep up. So, like, if I rewind it all these times and not knowing who the fuck's legal, the ref's got no fucking chance, to be honest. And sometimes I feel like if it's the illegal man getting pinned or beat, sometimes it don't matter that much, because I think if you're watching it as a fan and you're like fucking, it's pretty hard for the ref to keep it, to keep an eye on fucking everything that's going on. Sometimes he's going to miss something, isn't he? So you can't fucking. It's a bit more realer if the ref, doesn't quite spot something.
Especially with it being on baby faces as well. With the villains doing it, they're like, oh, them bastards cheated them out of it. Like, it's cool, isn't it?
Mm. But no, it was a really good match. It was a fun match. Yeah, real good. And I was a big fan of all 4 of them guys. So
Wicked.
Yeah.
My third was from July the 20th, 2007. A company called UWF that were kind of put together, booked by TNA.
Right.
They'll bring other people in as well. Like, it was primarily TNA people with the addition of the odd other boy from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, as part of the Rock and Roll Tag Team Tournament. Express. It's Too Cool versus the Steiner Brothers. Who'd have thought it?
Fucking hell.
This is tournament. So Too Cool the night before beat the Extreme Horsemen, Carino and C.W. Anderson. That would have been cool as well. That would have been a good one. And the Steiner Brothers beat a team called the Rock and Soul Express of Robert Gibson and Jay Lethal.
Wow.
There's not too many in. It's outside and it's by a river and a road, and there's not many there. But I had to look into the actual show. There wasn't any information, like no date, no fuck all. So I had to kind of look it up and do look into it further. They said there's 350 there. Is there bollocks? There's fucking 3.5 there. It's the 6-sided ring. The match is right confusing because at the start they're both right over. They're getting cheered. Both teams are getting cheered. Then the Steiners are sort of doing cheaty things and just fucking being assholes. And then there's like an eye gouge cut off from Brian, and Brian takes his belt off and starts fucking choking the Steiners. So now they're the villains and they're getting booed, and I'm fucking baffled. But I suppose if it's a tournament, then this shit actually happens, doesn't it? Like, it legitimizes the tournament. There was a shitload of heat on Rick Steiner, and Rick was actually selling right well for Too Cool, which I wouldn't have expected. Rick bites the arse of Brian at one point, and it's right fucking funny because Brian takes the belt off and starts fucking whipping him and choking him and shit. And then at some point he's got like some kind of hold on Rick Steiner, and Steiner just pulls his fucking trousers down, which is fucking marvelous. Hot tag, and then there's Scott Steiner comes in now, belly to Brian, but Brian's still got his fucking trousers around his fucking ankles, and damn, he lands right on his fucking noggin, like proper on his head. There's a nut shot to Scott from Brian, as in Scott Steiner from Brian Christopher. Scotty tries to do the worm. Rick Steiner cuts him off, and then there's the Steiner recliner on Brian, so Steiners are over. It was interesting to see because there's no one else you would have seen fucking Too Cool against the Steiners.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in fucking 2007. I like the outdoor setting. I like that. 6-sided ring, fucking, I've never done one, don't understand one. You've been in one yet, but it's not for me.
I've never been in a 6-sided one. No, I wouldn't fucking want to either. I've never seen the point. You all right?
Right. I thought Ted had one.
No, he might have. I heard that he had at one point, but I never was in it. Like I never, but I would never want to. I like even now. I think
Yeah.
you can. To me, it's fucking stupid.
What's the fucking point? Wrestling's been in a square ring for hundreds of years. Why change now?
I have fucking no idea, to be
Trying to
honest.
be that fucking UFC, innit? Which is fine, but let the UFC do that. Like
Yeah,
football is more popular than wrestling, but you don't wear fucking football boots and fucking bring a ball to the ring, do you? It's bollocks.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I don't get it.
I enjoyed the match. Just it was just right confusing, and the outside was nice. Yeah. All right,
Cool.
just all right.
All right. Well, my final one is February 3rd, 2001 from Metal, and it's Too Cool versus S.A. Rios and Chad Collier.
Oh, Chad Collier. Yeah.
I think I'd heard the name Chad Collier, but I ain't familiar. But
Yeah, I did a show with him with him on in Wales once. He came here quite a lot for All Stars, and Alan Ravenhill had him on once in Wales, and we had to go to somewhere to pick him up. I can't remember where. It could have been Butlins to pick him up, but I went with Alan Ravenhill to pick him up.
all right, okay. Yeah, like after when I found this match, I googled him to see like fucking what's he about on that. He was trained by Dean Malenko.
Malenko training, isn't he?
You are? You
I
are?
was just said he was a Malenko training.
Yeah, and it's funny because when he first came out through the curtain, before I googled him, because I googled him after the match, I thought Dean Malenko, like all over, like even his tights. He looked a bit like Dean, and he had the fucking very similar trunks on to like what Dean would wear.
He wrestled as Chad Malenko sometimes here.
Oh yeah, in fact, yeah, on Google it said that was one of his names it went by. But one thing I noticed about this match, which was quite fucking like a bit like kind of annoying, was the commentators. I don't know if it might have been Kevin Kelly. I don't know, but they clearly couldn't give a fuck. They could not give a fuck because the match itself I thought was good. In fact, out of the four, it was possibly my favorite one out of all four. But they were literally. I know that you got to fucking promote the main events for upcoming shows and shit like that, but fuck me, all they done was talk about Austin. The whole fucking match, Austin this, Austin that, and it's like
I said that the other week, didn't I? About a match that they're putting their heart and soul and their bollocks into it, and they just seem to be there for a filler, which is such a fucking waste of their hard work.
But I mean, it was on Metal as well, so it's not like it's fucking full of main eventers. So like, I didn't understand why they would fucking it. Like, there were so many good spots in it as well, and so many fucking like high risk moves, and just there was some pretty fucking nice stuff. And they just couldn't give a shit. Like, I think it was Austin and Triple H they were building up or something like that. And like I remember when they finally mentioned the match, I was like, fucking hell, they've said something about it. But it was like very rare. But the match itself was fucking really good. Like, Too Cool went over with the fucking what was it? The SA misses a moonsault, double down. Then he ends up doing the hip hop drop, leg drop, Scotty for the win and that. But I've just put a solid match, my favorite one out of the lot. And then at the end of the match, the Too Cool get the referee in, which was fucking what's his name? The referee was Chad
Patton.
That's the fucker, yeah. And they got him in to do the whole fucking dancing and shit with him, which was quite funny and stuff. But no, it was good, really good match, really entertaining. But yeah, the commentators just couldn't give a fuck, to be fair. Which I hate it when that shit happens. Like, spend a fucking 30 seconds talking about a bastard main event when you know what I mean.
And after the match, they would have gone to a video package of the same shit that they would have just been talking about anyway.
Yeah, probably. It fucking annoys me when they do that. But no, the match itself was good.
Wicked. My last one was from 2014, January the 6th, on one of those old school Raws.
All right, yeah.
It was Too Cool and Rikishi versus 3MB.
Oh yeah, I've seen that match pop up actually.
Yeah, it starts like during the match on YouTube. But they're getting heat on Scotty early on. That's how it all starts. Is 3MB getting heat on Scotty? That's Drew McIntyre, isn't it? Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal.
Oh yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
So all this shit's going on. They're beating the fuck out of Scotty to Hotty. Keishy's in a tracksuit rather than his nappy, which is a little disappointing. I think when you buy the quiche, you want the quiche, don't you? You want full nappy on. Any old way, like towards the finish, Brian's up top for the leg drop on Drew. Some shit goes down and a bit of a cut off to the point where Jinder Mahal sunset flips the quiche. Quiche fucking does his squat on him, fucking teabags right in the face. 1, 2, 3 in a row. There's not a lot in the match, but it's nostalgia that, it's the old school Raw, isn't it? So it's the red, white, and blue ropes and the old skirt and everything around the ring. It's really cool. But most of the time of the video was spent on the dance afterwards. They put the sunglasses on and fucking do the dancing. It's easy money. And Scotty does the worm after, like during the dance thing, and it's not wrestling by any stretch of the imagination, but it's proper nostalgic and it's over. So that's what wrestling is about, isn't it? So yeah, it was nostalgia. It was like going back fucking 15 years to because this was 14. So yeah, going back 15 years would have been when they were at the peak kind of thing. Yeah, cracking, good.
Cool. Cool.
All in all, I like Too Cool.
Yeah, they're good. They're like I've put at the end of my fucking notes as well. They're a very, very entertaining tag team. Like they're just so. They kind of, you know what? Totally different, but very similar with the Bushwhackers to me. You know what I mean? Because they were fucking entertaining as fuck, and they were great workers. But you didn't expect them to have the best match on the card. But they were fucking. They kind of knew their role, and that's what they were. They were you don't think of classic matches when you think of them. You think of the entertainment value. And that's exactly the same with the Bushwhackers in that way. Totally different teams, but I certainly see the similarities with,
But teams like the Bushwhackers and Too Cool could have wrestled each other because they're that diverse that they can wrestle anybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're great workers, but you sometimes don't see that.
You stick fucking Scotty to Hotty on with Kamala, and he'll be just as good as he would be against AJ Styles. Do you know what I mean? That's like a key to a good wrestler, I think, is that they can go on with anyone.
Yeah.
So Monday, Lanny Poffo.
Yeah.
Wednesday, the WWF house show from Germany from '93. Next Friday is your tag team pick. Tell the world.
I've chosen the Islanders, Haku and Tonga Kid. I thought I'll go with them. Totally fucking different. You wouldn't expect me to pick them, and I thought, I've seen quite a lot of them, their matches, and I know they're a hell of a fucking tag team. They've had some.
So we'll be going from that'll be what 97, 98, 99, 97, 98 mainly, wouldn't it? What I thought, because they were last on Rumble 88, weren't they?
88, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry, 87, 88.
Yeah.
Because they were on with the Young Stallions last on the Rumble 88. So and they were at WrestleMania 4. Yeah, that's 88 as well, wasn't it? Yeah, so 87, 88.
So when did Haku go single? Because
it must have been early on 89. At WrestleMania 5, he's on with Hercules on his own when he's the king. Oh, Royal Rumble 89, he's on with Harley Race, isn't he?
Right.
So that's the Rumble when he becomes the king. So that's January. So I suppose the Islanders was to the end of 88.
Mm.
So there'll be probably 18 months, 2 years of Islanders there.
Yeah.
So we're kids. So that's next Friday. Lanny Poffo Monday. Fucking shortlisting the Lanny Poffos I've done this morning. The fucking hardest one I've done so far because like there's so many good ones that I want. I wouldn't mind a glimpse at from 30-year stretch. Wicked, yeah. Lanny Poffo. See you then.